Kendrick Lamar is a multi-time Grammy-nominated and Grammy Award-winning artist, and while people love to cover tracks off of Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly, such as Mortal Man and Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, I personally want to cover a song off his Forced You album, Damn, by the name of Fear. Before anything, I think it'd be a good idea to go over just the base understanding of fear, as many already know it. So, fear, defined by the American Psychological Association, is a basic intense emotion and an adaptive, often innate, survival response to perceived or actual immediate danger, which is usually characterized by physical reaction like increased heart rate, muscle tension, and anxiety. In the intro of the song, Carl Duckworth, Kendrick Lamar's cousin, recites the Bible verse Deuteronomy 28:28, which states, "The Lord shall smite thee with madness, blindness, and astonishment of heart." This Bible message's themes are present throughout the entire song and are referenced again in the outro of the song, so just be sure that you keep this in your mind as the rest of this video proceeds. Into the first verse, we see Kendrick's first interpretation of fear being his own mother, but at the same time in the verse, we also get the first taste of anaphora for the entire song. The use of anaphora in this song, defined by Kendrick Lamar in an interview in 2017, he states that the reason that anaphora was used so heavily was to make a listenable feeling of compounding fear. In the first verse, Kendrick Lamar is supposed to be perceived as a 7-year-old child. In this first verse, his mother repeats, "I beat your ass, keep talking back. I beat your ass, who bought you that?" The reason for this very harsh language is so that way young Kendrick will internalize it. The reason for this internalization is so that whenever he comes into teenagehood, that he will not want to act out because he's never been punished, and the main reason for Kendrick's mother to do this was to steer him away from the very common gang violence that many teenagers would get themselves into in the late 80s, early 90s in Compton, California. Jumping ahead 10 years, Kendrick is now 17. As stated earlier, the use of 10 years was precisely used to show that this fear was being increased 10 times over. Kendrick's fear has now evolved after all this time, going from the fear of punishment to the fear of death. A Genius Annotation references a study done in 2004 that stated the leading cause of death of black males aged 15 to 19 was homicide. Kendrick choosing the age of 17 not only alludes to this study, but also references the real-world death of Trayvon Martin in the second line of the song being, "I'll probably die walking back home from the candy house." In the rest of the second verse, Kendrick thinks of all the ways that he could pass at such a young age, from gang violence, false accusation of crime, and police brutality. The fear of death in the second verse is much more than just statement. It's actually a reflection on Kendrick's experience as a youth and something that would follow him for the rest of his life. In verse 3, another 10 years have passed and Kendrick is now 27. His fears have yet again evolved, this time becoming the fear on his financial well-being and his fear of losing everything he's worked for. In this verse, Kendrick draws parallels between him and Job, as Job was used as an example of God's faith, and he wonders if God is simply doing this to making him an example. In the verse, Kendrick lists examples of ways he could lose all of his money, being tax issues, reckless spending, and his own financial advisors messing with his money. The reason for this fear is that he believes that financial freedom is the only way he will be able to relieve himself of all of his life's fears and struggles. In the outro, Kendrick receives yet another voicemail from his cousin Carl Duckworth, who recites Amos 3:2. "You only have I chosen for all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your sins." Tying this back to the earlier mention of Deuteronomy 28:28, Carl is attempting to give Kendrick an explanation to everything plaguing him and urges him to accept his fate, as that will be the only way for everything troubling him to truly subside. Carl Duckworth ends his voicemail repeating that he will continue to pray for Kendrick. Kendrick in response begins to claim over and over, "Ain't nobody praying for me," allowing fear to win. Kendrick Lamar highlights that fear is more than a feeling, but something that evolves and grows with you as time goes on. Kendrick uses his last 27 years of life as a way to ask us if we too will allow fear to take hold of us, or if we will accept our fate and allow all of our earthly feelings to disperse.